slamming it into a ball. You kind of want to start with more of an egg shape. That way when I push it down, you're gonna be less likely to have air bubbles. So kind of an egg shape, and take the top and slam it down, okay? Then you're gonna pat it down. I say sometimes you look like a deranged monkey because you're like doing this, trying to get it patted on there pretty well. You just wanna get a nice seal. You do not want your bat to have any water on it, and you don't want your hands wet, because otherwise it'll slide right off. So you want to have it dry and your clay very plastic so it'll stick. So you're gonna slowly spin and do the deranged monkey move, trying to pat it into the center, okay? Once you feel like it's connected to your wheel pretty well and it's patted as close to the center as you can get, then you can get your hands wet, all right? So once your hands are wet, you're gonna cup your hands around it. As you can see by where the clay hit my hands, you can see which part of my hands are touching the clay. This part is what is touching the outsides, and my thumbs are on top. I'm just kind of sealing that in a little bit more, so you can see where the clay is on my hands, which part of my hands are touching. Then I am ready to pull it up. One of the most important things about throwing, and the whole process of this is called throwing, is that my legs, my arms are always on my legs. So my elbows or forearms are on my legs. You might notice that this foot, because this foot's on a pedal, I want my knees level. They need to be even. I don't want this down here, so I'm up on my toes. If that's uncomfortable for you, over there behind Jade is a shelf full of bricks. You can always put a brick down to level your feet up, but you want to keep your legs level. So your elbows are pushing down. They're not just resting on your legs, but they're pushing into it to give you leverage, okay? And get my hands wet, and I'm pushing my palms together and squeezing up. All right, so again, you can see where the clay is hitting on my hands. I am squeezing with this part of my hand, okay? Squeezing together. When I feel like I have it on there, then I'm pulling up. I want the wheel to go really fast at this point, and my hands are moving at the same rate my wheel is spinning. Once I get it up into a cone, then I have to push it back down. There are two ways to do it. The first one, you're gonna keep the same position that you've had with your thumbs on top and your palms on the side, keeping your elbows on your knees. You are going to push down and hold it steady, slow release. You can tell it's not centered because there's still a wobble in there. Do you see that? If I put my hands on it, I can feel it, and I can see the wobble with my eyes. So I'm going to pull it up again. You can't center in one time. You have to do it at least 3. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to take clean, wet hands, put them on the side, push together, pull all the way off the clay. Okay? And I have a cone. The other way you can bring it back into a dome shape is cup it with your left hand, kind of use your thumb to kind of curve over that corner, and use your right hand like a karate chop and push it down. So you can tell it's right in here that I'm using my palm. So it's the side and part of my palm. I'm squeezing with my left hand, making it steady. So if I tried to come over here, you shouldn't be able to come over here and push my hand off the clay. It is that stiff that if I come over there and tell you just to take that hand off, I shouldn't be able to move your hand by pushing it. So it's keeping your arms very steady, okay? If I can move your hands around, the clay will move your hands around, okay? So that's why you gotta use your legs for leverage, push in, and keep this arm steady. You should see it flex most of the time when you're trying to center. So I'm pushing this down and I'm bending my wrist to create that dome. All right. I'm going to repeat that, pulling all the way off the clay and pushing down, slow and steady, and curving off in a slow release. So when it's centered, I don't see a wobble anymore. And if my hands are on it, I shouldn't feel a wobble. All right, do you see that? So that's basically how to center. It is. What are the important keys? What are the important things you need to remember? Keep your feet level. What else? Gotta have your hands wet. If you feel any friction on the clay, what does that mean? It's too dry. You need to add more water to your hands. When you start, you don't need water on the wheel. What about my elbows? Where do my elbows need to be? Do they need to be up over here? They need to be pushing into my legs for leverage. What about my arms? Should they be like noodles? Very stiff.